Welcome to NC Political Tea, the show where North Carolina's political scene gets served piping hot, grassroots style. We're here to shake up the status quo with unapologetically conservative takes and a whole lot of Southern charm. From the halls of Congress to under the dome, we're exposing the deals, the drama, and the dirt that the mainstream media won't touch. Who's fighting for your freedom? Who's selling out to the woke mob? And who's about to get roasted? No fluff, no filters, and absolutely no time for spineless politics. Just bold Republican commentary, sharp analysis, and enough sass to make the left squirm. So grab your sweet tea or something stronger, and let's dive into the hottest headlines and juiciest scandals rocking the Tar Heel state. This is NC Political Tea, where the truth always gets served.
Oh, look at that. We're getting pro.
We're getting professional here.
Yeah, we are.
You're up in your game. You've got the new microphone. You've got it working. You look like a real serious podcaster here.
Well, I got tired of hearing the echo in this room. And I feel like if we're going to continue to do this, we need to do it with pro tools. So I'm going to do some pro things. Turn my pool house into a podcast studio.
We're going big time, guys. We're going big time, but no kidding. Like I'm got to thank all of our supporters, all of our viewers on Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook channels. We've got it via obviously, we've got it via X on 2 channels. If you're watching, we've got this on YouTube, and we also have it streaming on Substack. So I appreciate all of you guys either listening live tonight or asynchronous. We love you guys a lot.
Right. And the more that you all listen, the more we can do. And the most important thing is here we are in election time. And I just want to say this. I got into this to save our state. That is the reason I do this. It's not because I get anything out of it. It's because we have radicals in this state that are hurting our children, our elderly, and just regular citizens. And if you like this, help us because we want to help you.
Yeah. And not only, we keep talking about this over and over again. Democrats in North Carolina are not fit to lead. I'm going to offer you one more piece of evidence. We just got this news in that Carla Cunningham, who made one vote, ladies and gentlemen, one vote with the Republicans to make sure that make sure that the sheriff is following federal orders. She is being demonized by the Democrats all the way up to the governor because that one vote, right? And I guess the Black Caucus now, a deeply Democrat group in Mecklenburg County, just came out, backed her opponent just for one vote. So,
which opponent did they back? Did they back the pastor that thinks it's okay to have illegals in this country and thinks it's okay to trans kids and that pastor?
Yeah, look, we're a country that ironically went to war with itself so that all men could be free. And it was over the federal ability to enact civil rights laws and to keep civil rights laws. I mean, look at Bull Connor. That was an instance where the feds were willing to come in and enforce civil rights laws. I mean, so if we don't have federal laws in this country, we don't actually have a country. So it's Article 6 of the Constitution, very well known. I mean, Biden liked to abuse that while he was in office. Obama really liked to abuse it. And it's just very interesting that this whole thing that we're going to talk about tonight, mainly in Minnesota, this whole thing could have been avoided if the sheriffs there, down to the police, etc., governor, followed federal law.
Well, it's not just in Minnesota, and that's the thing. Carla Cunningham is a great example of someone who wants her city, Charlotte, the Charlotte area, to be safe. And even her own sheriff came after her because he believes in sanctuary cities and making sure that people don't get put, in ICE detention from his jail.
We're going to talk about that tonight. And we've got a sheriff on from Dare County toward the end of the show. Is it Pender County?
No, he's a candidate in Dare County.
Candidate. I see. He's a candidate. Is he already a sheriff?
No.
Okay. All right. So he's not a sheriff yet. He's running for office. And we're going to tell you all about, he is in law enforcement though, right?
He's been in law enforcement in the past. He recently moved to North Carolina. I don't know, probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. He married a North Carolina girl.
Okay. All right. Well,
He's
great.
been in
Well, we're talking.
politics a long time.
All right. From a political perspective and from a law enforcement perspective, we're going to talk with him. But right now, I mean, everyone's talking about this guy. Look, Alex Pretty and Renee Good, they knew what they were looking for, and it was trouble, because we're finding out more and more about this guy. So it looks like a week before this confrontation, he got into a fight with ICE. He had to be subdued. And why wasn't he in jail? That's what I wonder. How do you get to physically mix it up with law enforcement and walk out of that without going to jail?
Well, what's he doing? Does he have a job? Oh, this is his job. That's right. He quit his job so that he could full-time protest. Even as though his parents told him, you probably shouldn't do that.
Right.
And if you're willing to get your ribs broken and then run into a woman, because he ran to that situation, you are where you are because you put yourself there.
So it may be reasonable to assume, and all this is being investigated right now, but it might be reasonable to assume if you got your ass beat the week before from ICE, right? He didn't have a gun on him, because I can tell you, if he got knocked to the ground and he had 6 or 7 officers were on him, that's the reports, and you had those officers on you and you had a gun, it would have been revealed. I'm telling you, it would have been revealed. You can bet your ass he was searched. He didn't have a gun. And so he came ready this time with one.
Interesting. And more interesting, if he did have a gun, they probably would have confiscated it from him,
Well,
which they, yeah.
Look, I mean, you can't have somebody in close quarters enough to break your ribs. If the first thing that they ascertain is whether or not you have a gun.
Are you packing, Sloan?
Pardon me?
They're going to check.
I'm putting my hand on my kidney here. That's where that's where most people carry. I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, that many officers on him a week before, he did not have a gun. I mean, I'm telling you. So then he did. I'm just saying, during the investigation, they're going to look for motive, right? Was he preparing, et cetera? And now we find out that he's part of some pretty complex planning.
And I think I think I read today that he was part of that signal chat that Cam Higbee uncovered. Guys, which is coordinated. That's coordinated.
I spilled my Skittles water on me. I'm really embarrassed.
You're shameful.
So bad. Oh my God, this is really bad. I might change it when we go to interview. But yeah, so it's a very sophisticated network. I want to try to explain a little bit to you. These are the advertisements for a Marxist group that is planning this training, and hang on to your hats because it's happening here in North Carolina. And I want to show you, this is from the New York Post, all of these. So can you see this? Okay, Mark, I mean, I know it's...
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that basically they're looking at car tags, license plates.
So this network, yeah, it was able to... Now, I don't know how that you look at license plates unless you've got somebody on the inside, you guys, because... You know what I mean?
I think I said this last time we were talking about this, but I think people don't understand how it works for a police officer. And I can tell you this from my personal, not as a police officer experience, from a technology perspective. Those tags are downloaded and immediately collected and put into a database that literally turns them around in a minute and says that car belongs to this person. And in a police vehicle, it can also give the record of the person that owns that vehicle.
Oh, the address, etc. And to my knowledge, that's not made available for the public.
Correct.
So maybe they hacked in there. Maybe they have someone on the inside. We don't know. But look, you could be going down the street and it is suspected ICE, confirmed ICE, etc. So they're hunting this. I mean, these chats are highly sophisticated. So there's a lot of training that goes into this. And look at this database. This was retrieved from a journalist who was in these chats and got these screenshots, which is great. And it tells you what kind of car. So if you're going to Minneapolis now, there's in essence a paramilitary. And I want to kind of explain it to you I've read several X posts, and this is really great from military who have done this stuff before, who have looked at these networks. So what they're saying, Margot, is it resembles like an organized low-level insurgent infrastructure. So it's not like organic outrage like they want us to think. This has coordination, role specialization, discipline, communications, which
software platforms.
Okay. So yeah, and you know all about that. So the structure, it's like insurgency playbooks. It mirrors it to the T. It has similar patterns. It has aspect discipline, avoidance of detection, single leadership target. Now, unlike foreign insurgents, this network is described as homegrown, relying on like sympathetic locals.
Yeah,
but maybe sympathetic locals, which I mean medics. We saw this during BLM. Is it someone in the police?
Yeah. Well, you're right. You're right. Yeah. It is sympathetic, but they are being recruited. It's, some of what I've seen is is there a chat group I can get into to find out where to go next? I've seen people say that. But the other part of it is they have people, just like people go door to door for voting. Hey, you want to join you get vetted, but once you're vetted, they want you in the chat.
We're going to go into that. We're going to tell you guys how that's going on in North Carolina. So we're breaking a lot of news tonight. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good show. This strategy stays below open conflict for now. So the focus is on harassment, intelligence collection, doxing, pressure tactics. This is important. Narrative control. And it's aimed at provoking an overreaction while avoiding kinetic confrontation, like what we've seen with Renee Good and this guy. Importantly, this does not dissolve on its own. Mislabeling this as mere activism, I'm telling you guys, we can't do it. I've done it. Okay, I've been guilty of it. That stops right now. This is a paramilitary.
And what happens with a paramilitary type environment is sympathizers decide to glom onto it. The Antifa sympathizers from, Oregon, Portland specifically, or, the John Brown guys, those guys start coming in with their guns because they glom onto and want to be part of. It's very interesting how this has converted itself into more outside support coming in.
And they're already in place. They're in place from Occupy Wall Street. That's where it began. You've got some of the same leaders that went into BLM and Antifa, right? And that kind of went into both. So they've had years on the job. As a journalist, I've exposed their networks. That's what I do. I expose terror networks, mainly in the U.S., whether it's on campus or in municipalities. They have the same leadership. I just want to tell you, the same leadership is off campus and goes on to campus here at UNC and Duke and NC State and UNC. They have the same leadership. I've seen them all the time, and people know this.
Yeah, and I think people discount the fact that churches are involved in this and mosques. Oh. They very much are involved in it, and some of them are leaders and places where you collect people, things, and information. Because who's going to check a church computer?
Well, I'm going to tell you that this is just like Hamas. They're trying to liken ICE to the IDF. So this is a PR model that's already in place. I'm telling you, I've written about it for a decade. I've lived it. I'm telling you, it's treating others, right? Like they're doing genocide, for instance. So we have the hallmarks that have already. Everything that I explained to you is how Hamas started out. They hide in churches. They hide in schools. They hide in hospitals. They want martyrs for their cause. When someone dies, it is very good for them.
Yeah, and we've seen that. They've made very good press releases about Renee Good. Everybody knows her. I know her name. I shouldn't know that. Alex Pretty. Nobody knew his name, but now we do.
Oh, it's in Times Square. I mean, this guy is yeah.
You don't hear like Ashley Babbitt's name everywhere. They pick and choose who gets to be a martyr and whose name gets to be. Oh, look at that.
This is in Times Square right now. ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that Laken Riley had a billboard erected for her.
That's
I don't
crazy.
think those 2 young people that were killed last week had anything erected for them like this. This guy seems to be not a hero, just walking by, and the narrative is, and just a proud 2A gun owner, and 2A advocate gun owner, and there was a woman in distress, and he was a nurse.
Isn't it funny they didn't pick the lesbian who who tried to kill an ICE officer? They picked the nurse, the male nurse.
Right. Just a pick, just like an Ohio dad.
It's so weird how they pick narratives.
Right. So Laken Riley was a nurse, and she's got no support, right? Nothing. It's disgusting, and it's just a part of the, double messaging that we get. So, I mean, the Democrats, they're definitely on one side of this. It's just so weird. You're on the losing side? I mean,
well, but that's the challenge, Sloan. We know the polls are stating that they are on the losing side, and the only way they can keep the momentum and the pressure up is to make it appear through the press that they're on the winning side, even though polling across all major networks states that is not true.
I'm telling you guys, without law and order, we're going to become an uncivilized banana republic. Tim Walz, Frey, the mayor, they could have saved lives, but they're not. They are part of the Hamas structure where they're ginning this up. They're actually saying that law enforcement is like stormtroopers. We know this happened with BLM, right? I mean, we saw that, and cops died. And I think ICE, they're going to make sure, and there's another thesis floating around. Some Democrats that are trying to be reasonable are saying, well, Border Patrol isn't trained the same way as local police, etc. But they're not cooperating. That may be true, but then that's on you. That's a hazard that the mayor takes. That's a hazard that the governor takes, and everyone else not having the local police cooperate.
True, very true. I can't wait for you to get into the training in North Carolina.
There is training in North Carolina. I just want to put this out there too. This really pissed me off. The American Nurse Association. Okay. They put this out and said, we're for peace and love, the seriousness of this, etc. We need to investigate. That's reasonable. But put out there to support him. And Laken Riley was in nursing school. I searched. I did not find anything calling for the investigation or abhorring the death of Laken Riley.
Well, I'd like for them to put a statement up about that TikToker who works at Virginia healthcare system in Duke University or Duke Medical, who said, take a syringe full of some drug and make sure you insert it in them at some point. I mean, where's the statement about that?
Right. And we also have one here in North Carolina. I'm telling you, it scares the hell out of me. The prospect of, I have a regular doctor. I know you guys do too. But the prospect of being in an emergency situation and having to go, to an emergency room, or God forbid, right into the OR, skipping the emergency room, where nurses have written this shit up there, and everyone knows who I am. Everyone knows who you are. They could look and see who we are or whatever,
I'm healthy. If I die in an emergency room, you should ask for an autopsy.
Ditto. And I'm not suicidal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of nuts that we're at the point now where if you don't have an old military doctor who basically only wants to see you when you're almost dead, you don't want to go to the hospital or the doctor because you can't trust them.
No. I told Ralph Carter, I said, look, I want my doctors 65 and up.
Right? Exactly. I like old crusty military doctors that say, you're fine, but you need to listen.
Right. Give you a kick in the ass on your way out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. So this action network, okay, the Siembra NC, we're going to be talking a lot about them. They're funded by Act Blue. They're also funded by Z. Smith Reynolds, who needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pushing for that. It is a far left group, and it supports candidates. It supports lots of candidates. Siembra NC supports sheriff candidates. That's going to be a big deal when I get
That's
into
crazy.
Okay. Here are just a few. So they've been training for this for a long, long time, sister. Oh, what do we have? In a church, ICE Watch training. Learn what it takes to be an ICE Watch verifier and dispatcher. We just saw what the verifier and dispatcher does.
Yeah. Simbra really kind of pisses me off because they're, first of all, for anybody that wants to go visit them, their headquarters is in, I think, Greensboro. Make sure you guys by and say hi for me. But what I really don't like about them is that they're handing money out. That's what they do. They hand out money and training. And they've, in the past, when we had protests for ICE, we're handing out exactly locations where people are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we have a network here, and they've been training for a long time. Look, this one was from back in January. Okay, this is in Raleigh. Okay, here's another one, and it's got October,
From September, yeah.
September, etc. Johnson County, they're in Guilford County, Wake County. Okay, this is a training network here. All right, this is another church here in Raleigh. This was back in February. Okay, this is, I'm showing you the extent of this. They're having them all the time. This is one in December. Concord, North Carolina. We need to tell Brian Echevarria about
look at the art center. Is that a public place?
We will
Clearwater. Oh.
This is one, just, I guess, generally in North Carolina, Fayetteville. And let me show you what
Crossroads. Crossroads Church. If you go to church there and you want to talk to me, you can. You should.
We might need a little speak out.
Might find me a little friend to go in there and hang out.
Friend with an N, F-R-E-N.
Friend.
Let me show you what they've got a whole subset of a whole side organization that they're dedicating to this. So check this out. Defend and recruit. Okay, so this is what they're doing. They're sitting there saying, look at that. They are ginning people up. He's escalating raids, targeting immigrants, separating families, detaining U.S. citizens.
That's a bunch of lies too.
Yeah. So trying to gin up anger. I'm telling you, you get mentally ill people, does not take them much.
It's disrupting our communities and our workplaces.
And so this is, like you said, taking advantage of people that weirdos, losers, and unfortunately, some folks that might be mentally ill.
Well, and the sad part is most of the people that get involved in this are young people. And we've seen colleges and high schools say, we'll give you extra credit if you'll go do these things.
Well, we saw that the teachers union here, or they call themselves a union, last week was having a huge wearing day, blue day. And the good news is I looked at their Facebook page and all they had was a collage of 4 teachers.
Were they all from Raleigh?
I don't know. There's a good deal of them in Asheville.
Of course.
As well.
Asheville, Trashville.
They're doing their very best to.
So sad.
So this is Kelly Morales. She is the moving spirit behind Siembra. She used to be the director of a very, very anti-Semitic group. Go figure. Listen.
And I'm sure she's from North Carolina originally too.
People that hate Jews were the same ones that hated cops with BLM, were the same ones that hated corporations, were the same ones. I mean, these are the people on the left, right? It's recycled bullshit. So the ones that have the Palestinian flag, you're going to see the Palestinian flag. By the way, there is no such thing as Palestine. There never has been a country or currency or language. There's not one. But the same, unicorn, right? Yeah. So it's all hand in hand. So guys, if you were thinking for the last year, I'm glad I'm not Jewish. I'm glad I'm not. Get ready, because it's going to be season 2, unfortunately. And Christians are being targeted. Look what's happening to churches. They're targeting churches, running in, scaring the hell out of families, children, women.
Listen, nothing's changed. I mean, I feel like since 2015, this is like the country is they're crazy. They see orange hair everywhere. And I'm not saying he has orange hair, but that's what they say. And we know this is true because Obama did it and they didn't do anything. They
That's right.
praised him for it.
Trump, let me tell you something. Trump has made it clear that this stops here and this stops now. Look, one of my favorites, Mark Harris, congressman from Concord, actually, he's called out Siembra as a serious problem. He's intimating that he's going to take action. I don't know what kind of federal action can be taken, but it definitely needs to be. Oh, about that nurse. By the way, this is the guy from Atrium Health. I filed today a complaint with the nursing board. I will let you know what they say because we filed this at the medical board. Remember, these radical doctors, and they told us to pound sand.
Well, I find this is really disturbing because I actually know a conservative respiratory therapist who lost her license for having a TikTok, and she didn't say anything political.
Is it here in North Carolina?
Yes, in Charlotte.
The medical board will target conservatives. I've noticed. Hey, this is something that I wish we had. This is the Florida Attorney General. He weighed in. There was a nurse that said horrible things about Caroline Levitt. I hope she has a miscarriage, etc. He's responding and say, look, it's not good enough that she's fired. Any healthcare worker that says we're going to withhold care, or we hope someone has an abortion, or hope someone dies, you got to strip their license. That's just an automatic.
Damn, we just got a compact. Better strip it quick so they can't come here.
Yeah, yeah, it's unbelievable. And here's what's going on in Minnesota. It is being held as an autonomous zone. You and I have talked about that, where they're actually having, if you've heard of Europe, the no-go zones, right? A zone where police are not allowed to come. Well, here's what ICE is having to go through, just so we're very clear, because we don't see this a lot on the news, of what's going on down there.
Now I know where to send my mattress. Man, if you have a trash can that doesn't have the F word on it in Minnesota, I don't know.
So they're trying to create this zone, just like they did in Portland, just like they did in Seattle. But I'm telling you, if we do not have federal law and we do not have federal supremacy, we do not have a country. And I think Trump is making that clear. Look, Obama and his sidekick, whether it's Michelle or Big Mike, I'll let you choose. They've come out swinging, saying this is horrible, terrible, terrible, what's going on. But look, he did workplace raids with ICE. 67 people died during arrests in ICE, in custody, under Obama. He had workplace raids, home arrests, arrest during traffic stops, probation check-in, 3 million formal removers, 2.2 million returns, 75% alleged no due process. I don't know. And he also awarded Homan with the highest honor.
It's true. He did.
Available. If you remember.
Yep, he sure did.
So in other words, how everything's turned. And that just gets me telling you, there are no more moderate Democrats. None.
No, it's really a standard of which side of the wall do you stand on. And I feel like it's really like Game of Thrones, the wall. It really is at this point. And I think it's interesting. Not only did Obama come out swinging, Bill Clinton came out swinging, which we could care less about him, but also Joe Biden came out today and talked about how the police were, going into people's homes and not giving them due process. It sounds just like J6 to me.
What, without a scintilla of evidence?
Right.
Okay.
And all of this is because of him to begin with. If he would have upheld the border, we would not be in this position.
Well, there's no question about that. And if there hadn't been a tolerance and an encouragement of lawlessness during the second Obama administration,
correct,
which really got out of hand with Biden, we wouldn't be in this mess.
You're right. But
So
hindsight is 2020.
I'm telling you, it would be, yeah, well, we knew the entire time. There's going to be some shit now because you're enforcing the law for the first time in a long time in some of these places. So you're going to have petulant little brats. Look, it's like when you tolerate 2 and 3 year olds to the time they're 14 or 15 to be a brat.
Well,
Then they get involved with law enforcement.
I think they were really more subtle about it under Obama, and we're not being subtle. And I also think that I believe that Homeland Security did not realize how radicalized Minnesota was. And if you think about it, think about what's happened out there. First, they had the Somali, fraud thing break. Now they've got ICE raids coming in. They're catching it from all angles, and their entire narrative is collapsing.
Well, wait until I tell you the statistics on the states that let out the most criminal illegals. You will not like
mad, aren't I?
You're going to be mad. So Roy Cooper,
I saw this.
of course, has weighed in, and he said, I support lawlessness and open borders.
I love how he always talks about this crap about, I locked up the violent criminals to keep people safe. You know what's true about this? Nothing. You know what Roy Cooper did?
What about the pardons?
Roy Cooper was the one who pardoned and gave clemency to more people than ever before, and more murderers.
Killers.
That's right.
Yeah. So he quite frankly doesn't care. And let me tell you about this man. He waited 17 days before our governor, 17 days before saying anything about Irina Zaruska. He responded to Jimmy Kimmel's firing in about 3 hours, and he responded to this in about 4 hours. Let that sink in.
Listen, it couldn't be more evident that this guy is, first of all, Roy Cooper's pet project. And secondly, let's not forget that if it's not about his agenda, he's not talking about it, right? He didn't want to tell you that he didn't do the rape kits for the whole 8 years till Jim O'Neill called him out. He doesn't want to talk about his part in what happened in Charlotte. He wants you to think he cares, because he doesn't.
Well, the examples I just gave you show that he definitely doesn't care about North Carolina, because Irina Zaruska was a North Carolina citizen, beautiful girl, and was murdered on his watch in his town. He's more worried about Jimmy Kimmel and some Minnesota nurse more than he cares at all about the people of the state.
I don't. It's really hard to take those two seriously. And now I know you're going to show me my other favorite, Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, no, this is very triggering. I don't know if you've watched the show when I brought up Wiley Nickel, but Margot, it's like a Clockwork Orange. So here we go. This really pisses me off, and it scares me to death, because this man is a Democrat running for DA of my county. He is sitting here talking about already violating Title VI, Article 6, of the Constitution when it comes to federal power, saying, I'm going to use my office to harass and harangue law enforcement and ICE.
Wiley Nickel's going to get really familiar with Hamreet Dillon, and he's not going to like it. She might have to suggest him to get his eyebrows fixed. He needs a little manscaping.
Lord knows.
He reposted his own post. What an arrogant bastard.
He's an idiot. Define federal law. And I'm telling you, it's, you may not like it, but you have to follow it. Now, by the way, this isn't an executive order. This is a long-standing, this is in the purview of the president, right? It is executive in that sense, but cooperating with ICE, this isn't a new thing. I mean, these agreements,
law,
right? It's a law, and it's been supported by SCOTUS decisions. So,
but let's be the district attorney and break the law. Let's set a shining example of that.
Well, and err on the side of not protecting your citizens.
Correct.
Yeah. So believe it or not, Wake County in North Carolina between January 2023 and now, was responsible for about 70% of the 505 criminals that were illegals that were let out of jail.
I'm not
So
surprised at that.
responsible for the lion's share.
So Wake County, Guilford County, Mecklenburg County, the three biggest areas where newcomers were given, areas to enter. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you know this, Sloan. North Carolina has two Mexican consulates. One is the official one in Raleigh, and they have an honorary consulate in Charlotte. Why do we need Mexican consulates in North Carolina anyway? Why can't they go to Atlanta or DC? It's only 4 hours either way.
That is weird. That's very weird. So there's a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are done by the Democrats. There's a lot. Republicans need to crack the whip a lot harder. By the way, news update. January 29th, which is, I think, Thursday, that was supposedly the oversight hearing in the General Assembly for Gary McFadden, who is the sheriff of Mecklenburg. It's being moved to February 6th. And my understanding is that Republicans are doing it because they need a few additional witnesses and to look into a few additional things. Makes sense.
Let's see. That's before early voting starts, right?
Yes.
We're doing mail-in voting, but we haven't done early voting yet. Okay, I just want to check and see if it's strategic.
You're right. Okay, so running down this story, I mean, this has gone gangbusters today. I reported it.
This is a crazy story. This is one y'all have to listen to.
Okay. So, North Carolina shop owners charged this smoke shop, of, giving out, check this out, pot. I mean, literally pot. First of all, they're letting minors come into the store. So let's just start right there. Not supposed to do that. Not supposed to let minors come in. All right. So 6 kids overdosed on illegal THC gummies. Johnston County is the location. Ahmed Almansar and Mohammed Ahmed.
They don't sound like they're locals.
They ain't from around here. They're facing 30 charges. Now get this. This is not the first time this has happened. They've been charged before for this stuff. Why are they allowed this, Margot?
Well, first of all, I don't think people are paying attention. That's the first thing. The second thing is, from what I've heard about the sheriff in Johnston County, he kind of turns a blind eye to illegal activity because I have friends that live there that have called him, and instead of doing what they've asked about illegal activity, they harass the person that called.
Well, that's not, we got to get on his ass too, but they're charged with over 30 charges, drug trafficking, selling near a school, which is, I want you to focus on this. This is a big deal. Possession of bath salts and fake urine. Fake urine is a thing here. I'm not sure why, but maybe we can get Teddy.
You know why. You know why, don't you? Because they want to pass a drug test.
Oh, I see. So these are the guys. But then look, I did a query of arrests like this over the last 2 years. And you know what I found? Almost all of them, Arabs.
Really?
All over the state have been arrested. Let me show you just a couple of things.
Wait, so they're like our Somalis?
I don't know, but I'm starting to investigate. Stokes County, vape shop, undercover illegal substances, manager charged. These are the 4 that were arrested there. Okay. All Arabs, right? So that's interesting. Okay. That's one data point. So let's keep going. Then we have this guy, I can't pronounce his name. This happened in Butner, Granville County. Okay, well, that's Frank Sossaman's district. Arrested in March 2025. Again, possession with intent. Possession, selling by a school. Okay.
That is crazy.
This began after middle school students overdosed on THC vapes. Some of these THC levels were 30,000 times greater than the legally allowed amount.
Is there a legally allowed amount of THC? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that we had a legal amount in North Carolina.
Yeah, we do. This is another one. This is not. These are all separate cases. August 29th, 2025. Okay. Again, search warrants, 9 smoke shops across the county, etc. Actually, that's not the one I need. Oh, shoot. My stuff is not in order. Okay.
What else is new? We have to have this happen one time.
Four arrested in Moore County. Those are the 4 I showed you. Again, Ahmed Mamu. I can't pronounce it. Felony possession. Felony possession is Schedule 5. Excuse me. 4. Wait a minute. Selling by a school. All of this should sound familiar, right? So these are the ones that I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, I'm going to tell you what I arrived at. These are the 4 in Moore County, to be clear. Okay, not to hurt your eyes, but we're going to go through this. Okay, now we get to this. Your friend Bobby Higdon.
He is my friend, and I love him very much.
This is a federal prosecution.
Good guy.
31 individuals charged in 2019 in cigarette smuggling operation. This is important. Look at the names here.
Oh, my goodness.
A vast majority are
Middle Eastern.
Feast your eyes. Mohammed, let's see, Ahmed,
Amir, Kiad, Amshad,
Arafat. Jesus Christ. Look, just feast your eyes on this. I'm going to let it on for another 5 seconds.
Wow, that's a pretty big operation.
So what we have here, okay, federal investigators have repeatedly warned since right after 9/11, because it's been happening, that contraband cigarette trafficking, tobacco trafficking, vape trafficking is not a low-level crime. It's a proven funding stream for particularly Hezbollah and Hamas. And they've done it in North Carolina, and they've been busted for it there as well. So these terrorist organizations, this is how they're doing it. In one federal case, Nasir Quayed, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, I don't really care, a former convenience store owner, was sentenced for running a large-scale contraband cigarette operation moving through North Carolina to Michigan. So prosecutors say the scheme generated millions of dollars, exploiting differences in state tobacco. I mean, it's very sophisticated. And another very serious case, also here, Mohammed Yusuf Hamad was sentenced to 30 years in prison for providing material support to Hezbollah. Federal court records show he used cigarette and tobacco profits all over the United States to fund the Iran-backed group overseas.
So interesting enough, that's a big issue in Minnesota too, as well with Somalis, vape stores. Now listen, they don't want to do alcohol because that is against their religion.
Hey, bingo.
But you can get high as a kite and use a hookah.
With 30,000 times the regular amount. That's probably
insane.
I mean, I'm no expert, but okay. So federal agents had documented this pattern before. In Operation Smokescreen, the ATF, they uncovered, cigarette trafficking, weapons network, etc., an organized crime group that actually was out of North Carolina. But look, even Democrats, Jared Moskowitz from Florida, and others sent, I think last year or the year before that, to Biden's administration, sent an official letter and said, this threat is here and it's growing. And they even cautioned that, making menthol cigarettes a black market product would actually lead to more fundraising in this manner and cigarette trafficking.
Well, it's funny you should bring this up because, that's one of Josh Stein's things he did as AG. He went after the vape companies, he was one of the few states that got the Juul money. But what are we seeing? We're seeing this. Several of those were from 2025.
Let's stop the bullshit. He doesn't care about
he wanted the money.
Kids vaping because he didn't care about kids getting castrated, chemically castrated.
You're right.
Changes at 9 years old.
All right, listen. There's a lot to talk about here. I think we got more to get into about this, but I think we have a guest.
Yes, and I want you to introduce him. Welcome, Teddy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on. Can you all hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Fine. Thank you for wearing your West Virginia shirt.
Come on. I had to. I had to.
That's amazing. So for those of you that don't know, this is Teddy Daniel. He's running for sheriff in Dare County in North Carolina. But Teddy, why don't you tell them where you played football and what you did with your life before you got to North Carolina, because you married a North Carolina girl?
I did. Well, she's originally from Southern California now.
Don't tell people that.
I know, but she's been
Margo,
here.
She does not you don't understand this woman. Anyone not from North Carolina is highly suspect. So She must really think a lot of you, sir.
She does. She does. So I'll tell you this. I, like Margot, I went to West Virginia University. Went there on a football scholarship, was a starting guard for the Mountaineers. After that, I went on, spent nearly 15 years in police work. Then I went active duty military. I was 35 when I enlisted, 36 when I went through infantry school.
Cool.
And when I was 37, was deployed to Afghanistan. Got shot 4 times in Afghanistan. And when I got out of the Army, I got into business, took one company public, sold my interest in that, started a second company, sold that company. And, I was watching the news one morning and they had the Squad. Remember the Squad from 2019 on there? And I thought, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to run for office. So I did a congressional run in Pennsylvania, in Joe Biden's hometown of Scranton. And I had a 6-person primary, first time I had ever run for office.
Wow.
And was outspent 10-1. I won the primary day vote. I won the election day vote. Took second after they finished counting the mail-in ballots, and a couple hundred votes. So I've been involved in politics for some time. And, I'm down here in the Outer Banks, and I hate to tell you guys, well, you probably already know.
I think you're going to tell us something we already know.
Well, I wanted to have you on for a couple of, before we get into the dirt of Dare County.
Yes.
You have a great perspective. I mean, you've done military, you've done, police work. And so, everyone's talking about, oh, wow, this is just a wonderful guy, this Alex Pretty, right, who went there and it was his right. The interesting thing is in North Carolina, you cannot have a gun at a protest. In North Carolina, you have different laws, but I guess you're allowed to here. But check this out. This is how you want to, when you're approaching cops or approaching you, when you carry. You want your right arms up. I'm a legal gun carrier, and you have your gun visible. Or if you had it holstered, you would say, I've got it on my right hip. You'd put your, that's the way that you do it. So
even when I get pulled over, hands are on the steering wheel.
Yep.
And when they approach the vehicle, I let them know, officer, I do have a firearm on me. So it's always a courtesy to let them know, because I don't want to make any furtive movements, have an officer see a gun and me end up getting shot. So it's just very respectful, very slow. Always let the officer know if you have a firearm.
Hey, Teddy, how's the immigrant issue down where you are? Do you see it there? Because we've been talking about Eastern North Carolina with the vape shops, and I wondered if you actually see anything there.
So it's very bad here. Very bad here. We actually had one candidate in my sheriff's race come out and say at a forum that we don't want to do anything about it because we wouldn't have anybody to work construction and nobody to work in the restaurants. I guarantee you he's getting funded probably by the construction companies and the restaurants.
We'll find out.
I'll find out for sure. For sure. I'll find that out. But it's bad. I know Tom Homan personally. Over the summer, I spent a day up at DHS in DC at their headquarters. And we had a long talk about the illegal immigration issue. And, first and foremost, there's so many grants out there for agencies to use through ICE, through DHS to help clean this problem up. The second big problem, and I asked, I'm like, listen, the illegal immigrants are one thing, but what about the people who are employing them? What about these contractors, these lawn care companies that are employing them? And I said, most of them just 1099 these employees so they can say, we had no idea that this person was an illegal. They're an independent contractor.
So they don't have to e-verify them, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
But if they're wearing a company shirt, driving a company vehicle,
or trained.
yes, or company tools, guess what? They're
They're
no
part of the
longer an
company.
independent contractor.
We need to talk to Luke about that. We need to talk to the labor commissioner about that. And we will. But I want to tell you this: the sheriff race is so critically important. I want to make that case right now, and I want to illustrate it to you. So the Center for Immigration Studies has done a study where they're talking about, okay, the counties and the states that have released the most criminals. So in other words, I want to tell the audience, criminals. In other words, there's no probable cause, right? There's no, okay, you look Mexican, I'm going to pull you over. They are suspected of, there's probable cause of an additional crime, be it shoplifting, beating your wife, drunk driving,
Kidnapping, raping,
right? So
whatever.
these are kidnappings. I'm going to blow your doors off. California obviously is the top state. I don't think that would surprise you. North Carolina, between January 2023 and I think it was December 2025, okay? 505 altogether. That pisses me off. But wow. 285 were from Wake County only.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
That's where I am.
I believe it.
Now, what really pisses me off is I know you know of an officer named Ned Byrd, a sheriff, okay? 3 or 4 years ago, he was gunned down by 2 illegals. So the son of a bitch that is a sheriff now, yes, I said it, Willie Rowe, and he has no one running against him, you guys. His own sheriff deputy was murdered by illegals. And yet, after that, 285. That pisses me off, and it should piss all of you off. And ladies and gentlemen, he has no competition. Sheriff races count.
They do count. And my race is a little unique because we are a red county. Democrats don't have anybody on the ticket. So the Republican primary, the winner of that is the next sheriff. But what they've done is they are trying to hijack the sheriff's primary. They propped up a guy who's only been a Republican for a couple years. He's out there begging for Democrats to switch parties. He's got diversity policies that he's released, and he's buddies with a pedophile. So, like, that's what the Democrat Party is doing. They're trying to hijack the Republican Party.
Go on. Well, here's what you have, Teddy. When everything is red, like in Moore County and other counties, you've got trans Republicans running. You know what trans Republican is? You ever seen The Crying Game? You look under the hood, and whoopsie, you find a penis, and it's a woman, etc.
Well, it's like
a fake Republican.
I look at it this way. So the Dodge Chargers, when they first came out, they came in like 3 engine options. Okay, you had the Hemi Charger, all the way down to like a 2.5 liter 6-cylinder. Okay, this is the low model Charger that we have. Looks like a Charger. Okay, you pop the hood, it's not a Hemi. Okay, so that's kind of how I describe.
I like my description better because
yours is better. Yours is. I don't like to talk about trannies.
It grosses you. I was going to say it's not appropriate for manly men per se, but that's what you're describing. Now, is there an incumbent sheriff now that's running?
He is retiring.
Okay,
he is retiring. So it's a 4-person race. I only have like 2 real, I don't even want to call them threats. The one is propped up by the Democrats. The other one is the dog catcher for a local PD. So, I mean, but you have the party and the left working together to try to hijack.
Oh, really? The party and the left are working together.
Margo, that doesn't happen though, does it? Yeah.
Tell us about
normally.
Really,
let me just say before you get started. Normally, if that does happen and you have verifiable evidence of that, it's called party disloyalty, and we can do something about it.
Theoretically, but yes.
Theoretically,
right?
But you have Brownie Douglas down there, right?
We do. I like Brownie.
I love
Brownie's always been nice to me. Brownie has always been decent with me. Just talked to him one-on-one on a couple occasions. I do. I like Brownie. He'll joke with me when I see him in Dollar General, whatever the case is. Brownie,
You're fitting right in.
yeah, Brownie's not a bad guy.
He's a good fella. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
So tell me about, I'm dying for the pedophile stuff. I'm sorry. I know I'm jumping ahead, but can you just tell me what?
So when I announced my run for sheriff, and I have some connections within the NC GOP, within the state party, I was told about our District 1 chairman. I was told about him, Harvey West. So well, keep in mind, guys, I'm not your normal run-of-the-mill country club Republican.
No. Are you kidding?
I was blocked from the Dare County GOP page within a month of me announcing.
Oh, wow.
I don't go on their page. I don't post
on
anything.
great.
Blocked. Now, my wife, who's a florist, would donate the centerpieces to their banquet every year for the past 10 years. They blocked her too. So I guess they figured I'm a little too outspoken for them. When I told them I'm going to fight the corruption, we're going to take care of this backdoor bullshit that goes on in this county, they didn't like that. Okay. Blocked. So I found out their GOP Christmas party, which I did not go to, Harvey West was an invited guest of honor.
Margot,
Harvey,
can you tell us? Margot, just because she tells
Margot, give a rundown.
Who is
Harvey West, who is a
Harvey
convicted child predator, has 3 counts, I believe, of indecent liberties with a child.
16 counts.
16 counts with three specific
children.
victims. I'm sorry. Let's get that right. But goes
4
around
counts
telling
of statutory rape that he took a deal and that got dropped.
Yeah. But what's interesting is I know several pretty prominent leaders in the state have questioned him about this, and he never takes responsibility. He always says he was framed. I'm pretty sure if I got framed for that, I would probably not have any money. I wouldn't
Here's what he was framed for. At this time, he was a cop. This makes it worse. He was off duty, it's my understanding, and hired in some capacity
as a PI
to oversee a party of young girls. And he was charged with and went to jail for 7.5 years. So he served 7.5 years, ladies and gentlemen. Look, I mean, hell, I'm a Jew, and I forgave Kanye West yesterday. I'm telling you, my people drug me up one side and down the other because he asked for forgiveness. My point is,
Harvey's never done that.
But with Christians, you people, y'all forgive like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't.
Okay, well, in the Torah, just so y'all know, you have to do it 3 times publicly and earnestly. He did it. I forgave, whatever. I'm not saying that I would forgive him for doing that. He's never asked forgiveness. The thing that pisses everyone off is that this is a guy that serves, and he's a mean son of a bitch, particularly
narcissist.
Women.
He treats women like dirt.
Absolutely.
And why is he serving in the capacity that he is in the GOP? And
okay, but go ahead, Teddy, because you got a story, a real good one.
Yeah,
that recently happened.
Oh, it gets good. So he was at the GOP Christmas party, rubbing elbows.
Not playing Santa. Not playing Santa, right?
No,
okay.
No. He was at the GOP Christmas party in Dare County. Believe it was December 12th. And the other candidates for sheriff were there rubbing elbows with him because he carries political influence.
He does not. His wife does, but go ahead.
Well, he carries political influence in the district. Now, I knew about this. And I'm going to be honest, I stewed on it for about 10
ready.
days. And then
Teddy
I finally put a video out. I have a pretty large social media audience, and that video just completely took off. And I've had people on the right side of the party throughout the state reach out to me. So the Dare County School Board had a forum a couple nights ago, and you know who they brought in to moderate the forum?
Harvey
They brought in
West?
a
Is he
convicted
allowed?
pedophile.
Is he allowed to be on school property?
Hey,
Yeah.
when you throw fundraisers for judges, I guess you could do
Oh.
whatever you want to do.
Oh, you're dropping bombs tonight.
I don't care. See, that's the problem. I don't care. I'm a father.
Yeah.
I'm a stepfather. Okay. I don't care. And anybody who can sit and make excuses for a convicted sex offending pedophile, I don't want to hear it.
Who
And I
denies
don't want to hear from them. Okay.
Well, but you know what's
I will
funny?
go to my grave. Like, this is a hill I'll die on.
Well, so
I'm
what
sorry.
happened? What was the upshot when you brought that to light about
Oh,
him?
well, people were then saying, oh my God, we at
They
the
didn't know?
GOP brought a pedophile here to moderate a school board forum.
Like they didn't know? They didn't know he was a pedophile?
Well, the funny thing is,
Oh my God.
trust me when I tell you, the people who brought him here knew.
Of course
They
they
all
did.
know.
The NCGOP
Okay.
knows.
So obviously, and this is actually kind of funny. You'll love this. The left went apeshit. Okay. The GOP
Don Davis is
inviting
going to win
pedophiles.
NC1.
Okay. The GOP went nuts. And a lot of the good Republicans were like, holy shit, we had no idea. So then
How would they not
today, I posted up a picture of the candidate in my Republican primary who the left is backing with a long story about Harvey West. I didn't mention the candidate's name, didn't mention he was an opponent, nothing. Well, the outrage from the left seemed to stop right away because, oh, yeah, we can't have a pedophile. Anybody who associates with this guy should never hold office. Here's
Except the
your guy.
Democrat.
Here's your guy with the pedophile.
That's hilarious.
And now people are coming on that post. I must have blocked like 20 freaking blue-haired liberals. Now they're coming on trying to defend
Rehabilitate
a
this.
pedophile
Oh, yeah.
because there's a picture taken shaking hands
With the
with
Democrat.
their guy.
Listen,
And I
that
even had, oh no, Margot, it gets better. You'll love this. Two of the biggest people who throw GOP fundraisers here in Dare County went on because somebody left a comment. It's amazing how the GOP could allow this. And this guy went on there and said, well, it's not allowing, it's forgiveness.
Oh,
for the way
that's
he
Michael
lives
He's
his
never
Watson.
asked for forgiveness, Teddy. He's never asked for forgiveness. I know.
No.
They've told us this shit forever. I mean, how many times have we been, Mara, you and I, and Michelle Woodhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never asked for forgiveness, and he never accepts blame ever for this.
You're not. Wow, that was really weird. The GOP just hacked us and shut this off for a
They ain't
second.
smart enough.
But we've been excoriated for that. But you know what? You cannot forgive. In fact, there's something in the Bible that says when you do not allow wrongdoers to reap what they sow, you're the sinner.
Yes.
He never has asked. He's always lied about. I mean, how
I've
do we
never
know
seen
why?
anything like it. When
It's just-
mothers and women will defend someone like that,
Exactly.
it's crazy.
Women come after us, Teddy.
I've
Women.
been threatened with my life.
Well, and here's the thing too. When I
He's
came
a
out
woman.
with the initial video, you know, Harvey's attack dogs.
Oh, I'm sure
Came
David
after
Draper and all those
We know.
guys.
A big, fat, nasty looking guy, David Draper.
David Draper. There you go. We have the
Okay.
same enemies.
He's a
And
stalker.
it's like, here's the thing. David Draper will defend a pedophile. He will criticize my service to this country.
A veteran.
He will criticize the fact that I earned a Purple Heart. David Draper has attacked my wife and child.
David Draper's
Come on.
never served a day in his life.
No, he
He
never passed a
also-
PT test.
Right. Well, here's the other thing about him. And this is the disappointing part for me. Bobby Hainig, I cannot support you because of your relationship with David Draper and because this gentleman is a military veteran. And you chose to hang out with those people. I can't support you. I don't care how good you done on Shrimp Gate. Ain't gonna happen for me.
Well, you know, the thing with Draper, he was also involved with part of a VFAF organization.
Oh, I know, he
Margo,
came
I know
after me.
you're familiar with it, Veterans for America First. He endorsed yet another candidate in my race who is not a veteran.
Why?
Because he's doing the work for the establishment GOP. So that endorsement since got rescinded. See, here's what people don't realize. I was with that organization.
I do.
I was the president of South Carolina VFAF. My vice president in South Carolina was an Army captain by the name of Robert Cornicelli. Cornicelli is now the national president of that organization. When I announced, Cornicelli contacted me. He goes, "Hey, man, we'd love to throw you an endorsement." And I said, "Put the brakes on that. If this person or this person is involved in your organization, I do not want an endorsement. I'd rather you guys just sit this one out." No problem. When I saw the endorsement posted for my opponent, I contacted Cornicelli, and he goes, "I did not authorize this." He called David Draper. David Draper hung the phone up on him. Cornicelli, as the national president, rescinded the endorsement, and Draper got kicked out of VFAF.
Oh, interesting. Had no idea.
Kicked out. And I keep seeing posts with David Draper, VFAF, attacking me, attacking my wife, attacking my family. And I screenshot, send to Cornicelli, and he's like, "If you ever have a prayer of coming back to this organization, you take all that shit down." And
well, what you're really describing, though, is the intimate details of how these organizations overlap and take over. Like, and the threatening nature that David Draper represents, he's been involved in. He's threatened me. He's threatened to kill me. So, I mean, I totally understand where you're coming from. And
Margo, he won't do that with me. That's the difference.
He can't get up here.
He won't do that with me.
Long drive. I'd hate to see him go 11 hours. Might break him. Anyway, well,
yeah, he threatens women, etc. I mean, you know, if anyone out there thinks, I mean, that the GOP is all hunky dory, it's just like any other.
It's not. And I tell people, Sloan, I'm not an establishment GOP person. I am an America First Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a GOP Republican. That is the difference. I never get involved with small, you know, little GOP groups or factions. I hate to say it. A lot of these folks, they might be precinct chairs or something like that, and they expect candidates to come bend the knee and kiss their asses. I'm not doing that. Okay. Sorry.
One likes you already, I can tell.
Okay. And
man after my own heart. Look, I've been kicked out and threatened to have the police called on me just
had bodyguards
recently, just because I went to a meeting. I'm a journalist, so I did a story that was critical of Republicans. Why? Because they're in charge and they made a bill and no one read it, and it's going to hurt and kill people. So I am a precinct chair going to a meeting, and I had some doofus try to kick me out and threaten to call the police. I'm like, by all means, they know me. So,
well, Sloan, a lot of these precinct chairs and these small little precincts, like, to me, I feel like that's the pinnacle of their life. Like, they want that on their tombstone or something.
And some do great job. And by the way,
well, some are great. Don't get me wrong.
70, like some of mine just So I'm in Wake, the biggest county. Some of them are like 75, etc. And I have to tell you, I love this because they need to feel needed and they're actually helpful. Some of them, you're right,
they're petty.
They've been waiting all their lives to stick it to somebody.
Well, here's one for you. When I ran for Congress in Pennsylvania, I bypassed the entire GOP, and I had the 5 counties. I had all of their county chairs hook up and want to meet with me for dinner. This was right after I announced. I said, "Sure thing, I'll do that." We sat down and they said, "Teddy, you didn't you do your time."
Oh, that's right.
You didn't come ask us if you could run. And I said, ask you permission
Yeah.
to run for Congress?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we kind of decide who runs, who doesn't run. And I said, guys, I got shot 4 times in Afghanistan with an American flag on my uniform. I don't need to ask you jackasses for a goddamn thing.
Woo!
And I got up and left.
Well,
I left.
Teddy, yeah, I think we've
Like,
gotten
I'm
good.
a Republican, but I hate the inside GOP bullshit. That's what I can't stand.
I think
And
we got
it seems like every time I'm involved in something politically, it's not the Democrats
You're
that
right.
throw the knives in you. It's the Republicans that do it.
I'm telling you. I'm feeling you. Mm-hmm. Same.
Yeah. And it, like I said, it's a shit show. And like I knew when I announced to run for sheriff, I'd have to deal with yet another shit show of people who think they walk on water and they are kingmakers when they are not.
True.
And they're in fact a convicted pedophile. But we'll leave it at that.
Exactly.
You are a damn firecracker.
Fire.
We're going to have you on again.
Well, thanks for having me on tonight. I appreciate it.
We love that you came on. Love it.
Guys, so, we're getting to election time. It's voting for crazy. And you do that by staying at home, right? Or getting involved and making sure that sheriff, damn sure important, all the way up, is important up the ballot. So for that, I'm going to ask you to share with 20 people, share the show with 20 people. And if you haven't already signed up for Substack, the question is, why?
Teddy,
why would you not sign up for our Substack?
Yeah.
Teddy, real fast, where do people find you if they want to donate to you or they want to learn more about your campaign?
It's obxlawman.com.
Okay.
Real simple. obxlawman.com.
Tell us about just as we end, what are the territories of your district? Because if you're listening and you're not from North Carolina, you're going to know these areas.
We have Duck, Southern Shores, Kitty Hawk, Kill Devil Hills, Nags Head, Manio, Buxton, Hatteras Island. It is the entire
Outer Banks
area.
Outer Banks, where the show is filmed. If you have a teenager, you've watched
it wasn't. That was filmed in South Carolina.
Really?
They just made it sound like it was filmed here.
Okay.
Kind of like when they filmed that show Jersey Shore, they brought all these people down from New York City to film, in Seaside Heights, New Jersey. Like, that's a shit show too, but different story.
The good
you know where Belmar Beach is, though?
I do.
Okay, that's where I hung out back in the day up in New Jersey, because I've got relatives that live in New Jersey and in New York. So that's a real place. Yep.
So Teddy, the truth is you're like, I live in Murphy. So from Murphy to Manio, we're the furthest parts from the state. So
there's a sign down at the end of my street.
I'll go get the sign on my street.
So far away, but so close tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So we've covered tonight from Murphy to Manio, literally.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, and we're going to see you guys on Thursday. And it's been fun.
Teddy, thanks for coming.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap on today's NC Political Tea. We hope you're leaving sharper, spicier, and ready to take on the political craziness in the Tar Heel State. If you loved what you heard, or even if it made you mad, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this show with your friends, family, and that one coworker who just needs the truth. Follow us on social media to stay in the loop and get your daily dose of conservative fire. And remember, here in North Carolina, the grassroots grows stronger when we stand together. Until next time, keep the faith, keep up the fight, and don't let the left water down your tea. This is NC Political Tea, where we spill it like it is.